Hi guys, my name is Wilfred and welcome to this brand new series on Path of Exile. The new league is coming up in about a couple of hours time, so I'm very excited to dive straight into it, and I hope you guys got hyped as well and have done some research. So this episode is just to share a little bit about how I've done my research, and that may help you to kind of inspire you to do your research as well. Now, there has been a lot of debate as in whether you should research on a build or gear before starting a character in Path of Exile as a new player. I strongly believe that it's alright to start rolling a character just to get a feel of what the game is like, but to be able to go a little bit further where the fun really begins, you need a good foundation. By that I mean, reference to something that has worked by some experienced player, and probably just examine that, analyze that, and make it your own. That's what I do usually. Even though if I look at one of the build, which is like the end game build, it doesn't mean that as a level I have to follow strictly what they've done. And more likely or not, I have to make my own judgmental call to prioritize which path to go first, and so on and so forth. Even as the gear that you try to copy, so as to say, in my experience, I can never ever get the exact same affixes. So in reality, I may come to a situation whereby the resist cap is not met, or just not enough life, or this or that, and that will prompt me to change the gear on my own. But it is always good to start with a baseline whereby you know for sure that with this build, this set of gear, it will definitely work towards the end game, and then you can just change it along the way, be something that you may or may not be able to afford, and try to change it a little bit and see how far I can go from there. So that is what I'm doing today, and I would like to share with you my research notes and how I navigate through this whole Path of Exile trees that is very, 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 very interesting, very in-depth, and it could be very intimidating at first because there's so many nooks that you can just link up and so on. But I'd like to give an overview to those of you who are new to the game. I'd like to introduce this tool to you. This tool is called the Path of Building. I think this tool has been built very recently, and a lot of people has been using it to theorycraft or and whatnot, and it is very, very in-depth kind of like simulation. Now, I'm not going to explain all the nuts and bolts behind this path of building, but the more important thing is to illustrate the the kind of research kind of philosophy behind, just to share a little bit of, with you, just in case you would like to do the same thing as well before diving into a game. It is good to plan this out because as you put in pawns to your tree and so on, it is rather expensive to make major correction. Minor correction, there are ways in the story whereby you can earn some points to kind of like help you correct some of the points. But if it was a major, kind of like mistake, then it's rather expensive. Sometimes that may mean that you have to roll another character, which is fine because at the end of the day, Path of Exile is like a sandbox. To me, it is about just making new builds and so on. Now, I have there are multiple classes here. I hope you can see it. It's a little bit tiny, the font. It's a duelist, marauder, ranger, Scion, shadow, templar, and witch. I try to remember because now the whole game is offline because they are patching it a couple of hours time. The new league will be out. Characters like the witch, like the marauder, I think like the rangers. Well, those are the pure class. Red is strength, green is dexterity, and also blue is intelligence, more like a witch. So witch is pure intelligent class. Ranger is dexterity, and the marauder is the strength. And then you can mix the two up together. Like I think Templar is a mix of red and blue, and duelist is a mix of probably red and green, and then the shadow is green and blue. Then after that, you have Scion, which is a mix of red, blue, and green kind of thing. So it is rather interesting from the attribute perspective. But the Path of Exile is not restricting you from like the class, and you can actually branch out to do other things as well. So originally you could start with like a witch, but then you could also branch out to do a little bit of like a ranger part of thing if so you wish to. So there's a lot of flexibility there. And also after that you can pick a subclass as well. So that is called ascendancy, whereby you complete certain trial in order to unlock points for your subclass specialization. That's the best way I can explain it, because I think Path of Exile has a lot of jargons, and I'm not really from within Path of Exile kind of like thing. I've done a lot of other ARPGs, so I'm trying to use terminology that everybody can understand. All right. For this league, my plan is to do a ranger. Why a ranger? Now, there's a couple of female characters in this game. You can be a witch, you can be a scion, you can be a ranger. Now, I haven't tried a ranger yet, so I've tried a witch, I've tried a scion, I've tried a duelist in my last lead. So I thought maybe I pick a female one, ranger, never tried before. And I think one of you in YouTube saying that it could be rather easy too, so I'll give it a shot. Well, I've considered some other builds. So what you should do actually is to just Google some of these like a 3.1 patch kind of like build for the War of the Atlas build starter. So starter is important because there are many possibilities in Path of Exile, and if you are not careful, you pick something that looks really fun, but then it could be rather expensive to get the gear to make it work, because Path of Exile is about the build, about the gear, about the knowledge of what is the game like mechanism kind of perspective about crafting. So a lot of things to go on. My advice to you is that read up a little bit on the forum, watch a bit of YouTube, also read the comments from the YouTube channel, because that will kind of show you a little bit of like whether the person who's making the video for that particular build is a popular one, or there's still more correction to go for. And if there's a lot of active debate, as in like you could do this or that, to be better, then maybe the original build may not be the kind of like tip top kind of like foundation, and you may need to alter along the way. So there's a bit of research going on. I've decided to do a ranger, like I mentioned before, and she is hard. So yeah, so that's a ranger. Now, specialization perspective or ascendancy perspective, there are a couple of things that you could do. You could do a more like a like a bold kind of traditional ranger, or you can do a little bit of like a melee with the dagger or claw and so on. That is with a little bit of like a flask management as well, or you can do a shield and sword, I think. So for this particular league, I would like to do a ranger and pathfinder. Don't ask what it is, just do it. No, that's just my decision. And I envisaged my pathfinder to be someone like using probably a spectral throw kind of like can throw a weapon, and after that you come back to you kind of thing. More at the melee range, and I could also use like a molten strike, I don't know, some fire damage to sort of do AoE. So I have one power for single target, one power for AoE, and I don't know, we'll see how that go. Within the ascendancy itself, provided that you've done like 4 different labs, you can have I think 8 points if I'm not wrong. So there is a limit to what you can unlock. You have to make trade-off. So from my perspective, I know what I want, but the priority-wise, I'm still thinking about it. So the first thing first, I think if I use any flask, I increase the attack speed and the movement speed. Could be something that I could start first, because I think it's rather important to be able to have a little bit of mobility in this game sometimes, just to be able to get out of nasty situation when I use a flask, which in this build is rather kind of use a flask quite a fair bit. So that is probably the first thing I would do. And also buff the flask as well. Second note that I will use is probably a Nature's Boom that would kind of reduce elemental damage taken. Can be quite damaging sometimes. And also I like it in a sense that you gain a charge every 3 seconds. So a flask has number of charges to it, and once you consume the charges, you need to charge it back. And to charge it back, you can either say when I crit, it will charge it back, or when I kill enemy, or when I like for this one, I gain a charge every 3 seconds. So that's rather nice. And also there are chances whereby you don't consume the charges when you use it. Also kind of nice. So I think it's something that I would like to go for. After that, it's just a split between a couple of things. I could either grant 100% increased flash charges, which kind of nice when I kill enemy affected by elemental elements, and damage penetrate 10%, elemental resist is good because I envisage my ranger, although the weapon could be physical, but I like to also add quite a fair bit of elemental, and eventually I would like to do more on the elemental side of it rather than just relying purely on the physical part of it. So this is something that I would like to go for. And last but not the least, I think something like this will carve like a huge buff to what my end game vision of my ranger is going to be, or my pathfinder, should I say. So yeah, that would be my kind of take to it, and also my kind of like pick of the 4 nooks I'll do in that party. Now, as a ranger, I'll start somewhere here. By the way, if you pick another class, witches I think is here. Scion is right in the middle, and Moradon must be here. I think it kind of like form a triangle, and then whatever in between are the hybrid classes. So ranger, I suppose, is a pure class. It started off with some kind of like stats here, but never mind of that. Nooks that is near to the starting of this path is always more stronger in a sense, because these are closer to the class specific. So sometimes people like to travel to another class starting point to pick up some of the heavier stuff here, kind of thing. So that's what we'll be doing as well, because she'll be a little bit of range melee kind of thing, more like a melee range kind of thing. And also the rule in Path of Exile is that you can pick any point you like so long as they are connected. So when you connect some points, then you would kind of like get some interesting bonus. These are, I believe it's called, I can't remember what it's called, man. I think the big one is called a keystone, like this type is called a keystone. These are just some of the notes or whatever it is. So now the one that with a golden kind of thing to it usually are quite build defining. So things that you could pick to define your build. Things that go along the way, it could be something that buff a certain attribute, or it could be just it buff certain affixes, or it buff the attribute like this one, 10 plus 10 dexterity. So as you build your path, you would like to be efficient because you want to pick as many build defining nodes as possible, but you also like to pick those small nodes that are also buffing whatever damage you do, or on the defensive side. And last but not least, if you must, then pick some attribute that go along the way as well. But you want to minimize the distance between all the nodes that you like to pick. So back to the ranger, there are a couple of options here. Basically, there are 4 paths available. One is the increase the projectile damage. The other one is increase attack speed. Then after that, evasion rating, as well as life, and last but not the least, attack physical damage. So normally it's like this. You can pick one of the 4 paths to start the whole journey. After much consideration, I think because my build is going to be a little bit like a projectile kind of thing, a spectral throw is a projectile damage, molten strike is also a projectile damage. So I think I'll probably go for projectile. It will not be a pure physical, so it'll be like elemental as well. So some of them could be out, but I think because this game could be rather hard in the end game, so I would like to be a little bit more conservative. I'll probably just pick the evasion. Evasion is just to sort of like avoid all the damage coming onto you, and dexterity has a relationship to evasion. I'll do another video on what the attribute means and so on, but just take my word. I mean, for me, my ranger, I would like to go for this path because ultimately I would like to have finesse. It gives me attack speed increase. Accuracy rating is just for me to hit better, because I believe that there's some kind of like formula between the calculate between the two parties to determine whether you can hit or not. Then yeah, so I'll pick this one. And then after that, these are also very nice notes. Either Heart of Oath, give me further kind of like a buff to my defensive part, or you can say that mana and so on. Now I don't foresee myself doing a lot of mana kind of thing, and I think I'm more into the Heart of Oath. Between these two, I'll probably pick this one. And then lead to this one also, increase my projectile speed, projectile damage as well as adding dexterity, so I pick this one. Now I will later on further up this card path, but then let me just do something else first, because I think after I pick all these strong nooks to be, like, I think I'll start rather strong, but I'd like to start to go into the other side, which pick something that is more interesting on the leeching itself. I would like to be able to, I foresee myself using claws, and I probably would like to go for a leech, and I'd like to go for more leech as well. So I envisage myself going up the north kind of like northeast kind of side of it, and I would like to travel on this way to pick up some good stuff along the way. All right, so now that's what I intend to do. So in order to do that, let me just pick something along here. And the herbalism is nice because maximum life is good, 10% of it, and also the flask recovery rate as well as the life recoveries from flask will be increased, and it kind of synergize with the whole ascendancy on this one. It's a lot of flask management, flask kind of buff to it, so I'll go for the herbalism, and then I'll swing all the way to here first. All right, so some of these nooks are very nice as well. It gives you the maximum life. All right, so now after that, it's getting a little bit more exciting. Come up one notch, and there are many options here. After much kind of like study kind of thing, first thing first, I can have the crit strike and crit multiplier through the Heart Seeker, so I think I'll go for it. Another thing is about the Frenzy Charge. I'm not going too deep about the Frenzy Charge right now, because they have Frenzy Charge, they have Endurance Charge or whatnot charges. You can read up on Wikipedia. I'll probably narrate a little bit more in one of the other videos later on. But you know, I would like to build around the Frenzy Charges, and with the Frenzy Charges, I also get the evasion kind of like rating per charges that is active, so that's nice. There is something called Jewel. Jewel is like a wild card. You can plug things into it to make your build you know, even stronger, and you can put any jewel to it, but it would be nice that you put in some jewel that is relevant to your build, right? So it's something that but before you pick all the jewel shortcut, you probably want to see the note leading to it. Is it relevant to you or not? Then you pick one like that, for example. But that you can do it later when the jewel comes. But I think there's some story mode that will give you kind of jewel kind of reward that you can just plug one in for fun, and eventually you need it as well. So let's move up a little bit here, just go a little bit faster. This thing is nice, acrobatic, 30% chance to dodge attack, but then I got lesser armor, energy, shield, which is fine because for my build I don't really go for the armor and energy shield, and I don't use shield at all, so I can't really block spell and attack anyway. So because I like to do will claws, that's my end game. So I'm going to pick this guy because it works for me. It is called Keystones. It is build defining. Sorry. Okay, let's move up to here. It's getting late actually. It's like going to be midnight. So I'm just going up, move the thing up here. And the couple of things here very interesting as well. So as you can see, this is quite a heavy investment. Another 3 point, but it opened up a couple of things here. First thing first, it opened up the hang on a second. Oh yeah, this is nice. Blood Drinker. It give me maximum life 8% again, but also attack damage leech as life. That's nice. Another thing is the frenzy duration. I would like to increase my frenzy charge duration and also add another extra charge to my frenzy because mine is kind of a frenzy build. And last but not the least, these are all the claw stuff. So this is where the claw really open up when you you know, crit strike rating and crit strike rating, and then after that more crit strike rating, and finally this is the one that can leech back the life as you know, leech life and mana as you deal kind of damage. So that is where the Soul Wrecker is for, and I'm done with this path. I mean, there's nothing to go up there anymore, not for me. Now the next part is kind of interesting because I foresee myself having kind of like you know, weapon damage that is also boosts my elemental damage along with the weapon damage itself. So nooks like this one is kind of nice because I can damage with weapons that penetrate 5% elemental resistance that the mob or boss would have, and also I'll increase my damage during the flask effect, which I use a lot of flasks as you can imagine. So I like to go along with this, and along with this I can increase my elemental damage up to quite a fair bit, 36% at least, and after that add another 20% on top of it. Attack skill like the spectral flow as well as the molten strike both have attack kind of like it's not casting. So there are two things in Path of Exile: spell are being cast, and then then melee or whatever that like bow or whatever, those are more attack. So it's attack casting. So once you get it right, you are sorted. Very exciting. I'm so excited. So that is the one that I like to do. Now after that, what else to do? So there are two key stones that I'm looking for. One of them is the Point Blank, because I foresee because it's a claw, right? So if you look at this diagram here, when all fail, just look at this beautiful diagram, get inspired. So she used claw, so or melee. So Point Blank is good. It gives you more, if you have projectile kind of attack, the closer you are, you deal more damage rather than further. So that is build defining. I would like to travel to there. Another thing is nice is Vial Pact. I know they have reworked it on the 3.1 kind of patch note a little bit. I never quite into the Vial Pact thing. This is my first time using Vial Pact. But it sounds like I probably need to do like leeching in some sense using the new Vial Pact. So I'm fine. I'm open to kind of new things. It's good. So I'm going to go down here. And as I go down here, I like to pick up something nice as well. So there are things like the increase attack speed with one-hand melee weapons, which I would like to use claw, so it will benefit me. And then after crit chance is nice, and after that crit chance is nice, and yeah. But whether I want to go to another one or not, then I probably not something that is interested in right now, because it's a lot of conditions there, which I don't think I'm that interested. But I'll just like move along a little bit, a little bit to this side. By the way, I don't create this one myself. I just study what's out there internet, and so like okay, I memorize which one work for me, or at least how I should see it. So once I go down this path, I'd like to let me just check a little bit here. Yeah, I remember I forgot something. Thick skin is nice, 10% increase maximum life. So I would like to pick this one plus another 4% life. At the end of the day, you just have to make sure that your total life kind of like increase will be in a decent kind of shape. That would be nice. So with that said, I would like to pick the Point Blank as well as Vial Pact. So ooh, nice. Now it is building up, so you have to level up to get all these points. I'm aiming for a build. My target is level 90. I'm not that ambitious. So level 90 is my goal. So after I come to here, this is closer to the beginning part of the. I believe this should be between the Ranger and the Marauder. Could well be what the I don't know, man. Maybe duelist. I think it's a duelist, maybe. But in any case, this is the kind of good stuff that we are getting, because it's closer to the beginning area of the class, and that is why I'm going here to grab something. So now, what do I want to grab? Let me just come to here first. First thing first, I'd like to grab more frenzy charges for a reason that you probably have heard many times, that just do it. Another thing I would like to grab is the Golem's Blood, which increase the maximum life. The life regen is not going to help anyway, because with Vial Pact I don't have life regen, but I'm taking the maximum life. Just add more to this increased life from the tree. I probably would like to pick a second dual shotgun as well with a bit of strain, so that is just my choice. With that said, I think I'm almost sorted over this side, and I would like to probably aiming for this side, which is like, because my two main kind of spell, power, skill, whatever you call it, gems, would be projectile, both the spectral throw as well as the molten strike. So I would like to go for the increased projectile, go this way, and pick this guy up. And after that, this keystone, Art of the Gladiator, increased speed, increased accuracy rate, yeah, so that is something that's on the way anyway. Between these two, one is mana, the other is evasion rating, and increased life, again increased life, evasion rating. So you can get a theme already, trying to get some this is also life. 5% is quite a fair bit. So you get a theme already. Just try to get as much as like, balance between offensive and defensive. Next bit is the Master of the Arena. Life regen is useless. The increased melee physical damage is also kind of thing. It's just on the way to get there. Then after that, well, let's just push all the way to this node here and see what we have. All right, so we are building up here, very exciting. Next bit here, on the way, I'll get my third jewel, so I'll just get it there. But it depends. If I don't have a good jewel, I won't pick this up yet. So I'm going to pick on this guy. And after that, there's something called a Berserking. Berserking is to increase attack speed. So I would like to increase attack speed, like total of like 18% on this 3 node, and it's on the way anyway. And last but not the least, when it comes to here, I would like to take Constitution plus 20 to maximum life, 14% increase maximum life, and this is yet another 5%. So these are very good nodes for my defensive perspective. So with that said, I'm almost sorted here, and I'm already touching the Scion one as well, because this is a Scion beginning area. And if you play Scion, this is the set of nodes that you would like to go for as well, because these are things that give you quite a fair bit of life just to have this island here. So now with that said, I am almost done, but then, let's continue on the Ranger side, because I like to, now that I'm a little bit sorted on the a bit of like life steal, the leeching side of it, the elemental side of it, and along the way I got some crit and nice frenzy charges here and there. I'd like to just further boost my Ranger capability and probably swing to the other side, which is on the okay, this is green and blue, probably shadow side. So I'm swinging up the shadow side, and here we go. So first thing first, I'm going up there, but before I get to the shadow side, there are a couple of notes I'd like to grab as well. First of all, the Revenge of the Hunted, it will increase the evasion rating as well as the maximum life. So I thought this could well be something quite good for the end game. Now I may not take this path yet. Maybe I just something that I would like to highlight to you that it is really good. And this part is also quite nice, is to penetrate the resistance as well as increase elemental damage. So it's a nice mix of offense and defense. So I probably will just start picking this up first, because I think as I go higher level, like 80 or 70 to 80, things could become rather rough. And I need both the DPS as well as the penetration, also as well as the defensive part of it. So I'll pick the Force of Nature as well as the Revenge of the Hunted. And after that, I will probably go up here, because this keystone is nice, the Coordination, which is increase attack speed, well, cast speed doesn't really do anything for me, but it's just by the way, go up. I got attack speed here. And I've got a choice here between yet another 10% maximum life gain on kill as well as 20 strength. Why not do this one? This one is for mana. I don't do mana, but along the way there are also 5% life, which is nice as well. So I'm getting quite a nice 169% already. Then this one is to increase the elemental damage, crit strike chance, as well as trickery. So that's good. And last but not the least, I would like to also have my crit multiplier as well, which is the it's nice assassination. So I'd like to have that, and leading to it is a more crit chance. So it's quite a fair bit of crit chance as well. Can't really see it from here, can I? So yeah, I think that has to combine with the gear as well. So with that said, there are also the third jewel that I'm probably like to do. So I'll grab this one. So now this tree is kind of what I'm doing here is likely to be my starter build. May not be that easy to play, Ranger, never tried it before, but 110 I think is level 90 if I'm not wrong. So by level 90 I'll get something like that. If I can go beyond that, what other nodes am I looking at? Possibly something along the life node. I think there's another live node somewhere as well, 6%. I think I will pick the 6% first as my priority, and then after that I'll probably pick 5% here aside. If I do go beyond 90, go 91 and stuff like that, which I probably not that inspired to do, but we'll see how it goes. But I think, just to summarize what I've got here is that, I've done some research. I sort of like watch a lot of videos and see, okay, that is something that I probably would like to aspire to do, and I think I may be able to do it. It's a play style that I can live with. Rangers, not something that I've done before. This ascendancy is new to me, so yeah, it's very exciting. Starting with the Ranger area, go a little bit on the more on the life leech kind of thing, more frenzy kind of idea. Go a little bit elemental, come down here, pick a bit of crit, and come down here, do a little bit of health, and more kind of like a defensive kind of way, and a little bit more offensive, a mix of offensive, defensive on the elemental side and the life side, and lastly a lot of defensive over this side. So that is probably my strategy going ahead. All right, so now I hope that gives you some idea and some inspiration that you could also build something. But the idea is that just keep practicing on this kind of like a map here, and it's good to take a look at what other people have made it work, so that you do not need to make too many kind of like adjustment to your build, because it is rather overwhelming for new players. You have a lot of possibility through this entire map. You can do like you can if you don't want to do this part, you can continue doing whatever you do up here as well. So I mean, that is why it is important to plan ahead and have a goal in mind. And with the knowledge that if I know that this build, some other people have made it work, and I've seen it work in in-game with some kind of gear that's not too hard to find, at least I have the confidence that I probably can make it happen. All right, so that is all it is, and I hope the next round I see you, I'll be running some kind of like games here and there, just for the new player really, because I think for the experienced one, you guys know what you are doing anyway. You probably can do it with your eyes closed. But for new player, yes, it could be rather overwhelming. And I'm happy that I have you on board here. All right, very keen to see you very soon. Goodbye.